Hi, I'm Blake Zaccagnino. I'm an attorney who works mostly on personal injury claims in New York State. And what I want to talk to you about today is the importance of having good insurance on your vehicle. So, just to explain how these accident cases ordinarily work as far as what money you're able to go after in most cases in New York. How it works is the vehicle that hits you will have an insurance policy, hopefully, in most cases, on that vehicle. Generally, you are limited to going after the maximum amount of money that their policy is for. So, for example, the minimum amount of insurance coverage in New York State on motor vehicles is generally $25,000 in coverage. So, in most cases, if you are hit by a person that has limited insurance, the maximum that you can get from that person is the $25,000 if we're going to use that example. Now, the importance of having good insurance plays in is if you, in that circumstance, if you're hit by someone with a limited policy and you have more than them on your end, if you're able to exhaust the full policy from the at-fault driver, you have the opportunity in most cases to go after the difference between that person's policy and your policy. And that would be it's typically called sum coverage, and that would be a separate claim in addition to your claim against the at-fault driver. Now, insurance considerations that also come into play, which makes it extremely important to have good insurance, is it also factors into your decision on whether or not to move forward to trial. And the reason that I say that is trials in these injury cases cost a ton of money. And if you have to retain a doctor, there are some doctors that charge $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, sometimes more, depending upon the extent of treatment that you receive from them and the specialty of that doctor. So obviously the higher up level of care that you got, generally the more expensive that person will be. And that amount of money will come off the top of any recovery that you get. And the reason why, and I say what I'm saying is on that point is, let's say that there's a $100,000 policy on the other vehicle. Let's say that you do not have any more coverage on your end that would allow you to go after more on your policy. If the case is headed to trial, you know at the outset, depending upon the level of care and the treatment, let's say you sought a surgeon and you had a surgery, that let's say for the sake of argument that it's going to cost you $20,000 to have that doctor come in and testify. That comes off the top. So let's say the amount of money that's being offered in an example where there's no sum coverage in that $100,000 policy case, where the insurance company has offered $80,000. Well, in that case scenario, you can do the math and really talk about it and think about it, and it might make sense in that circumstance to take the $80,000 because in order to go to trial and win, in the best case scenario, not even considering the possibility of an excess verdict, meaning a verdict that is above and beyond what the policy is that could possibly allow you to go after a person personally. Not even considering that and putting that aside, it might make sense to settle the claim since that would be the best possible outcome at trial. The jury awarding $100,000 or more and knowing that you're limited to the $100,000 anyway for all intents and purposes, and having the 20 coming off the top, meaning that if you can get as close to the $80,000 as possible in that $100,000 example, it might make sense to settle just based on pure economics. So I hope this was helpful, and let me know in the comments if there's any specific topics that you want me to give information on.